I hear a lot of mixed opinions about the Huolong heater. Huolong heater. I can't wait for 400 comments telling me that I'm pronouncing this wrong. Oh, Zesty, it's not Huolong, it's Huolong, you stupid American. I hear a lot of players say that the Huolong heater is a flat-out downgrade to the stock minigun, thanks to its 10% damage penalty, faster ammo consumption, and over-reliance on fire to make using it worthwhile. Whereas other players say that the Huolong heater is equally as good, if not better than the stock minigun, because of that 25% damage bonus against burning players, and because the firing punishes players for getting too close. Either way, I rarely see the Huolong heater used at all. Hell, I typically pass over this weapon in favor of the stock minigun because I've always thought it was bad. And that got me curious. Can the Huolong heater stand toe-to-toe with the stock minigun? Or does this rickety wooden barrel cannon thing falls short of its full metal counterpart? I say we find out. Comparing the effectiveness of two weapons in TF2 requires an objective method that relies as closely on statistics as possible, rather than, you know, personal biases towards situational benefits or downsides, or because Joe Blow YouTube man says weapon is better than other weapon, ugh! So as a man of science, we are once again going back to the simple, yet elegant method first implemented by Tufty TV. Here is how the method works. Play a set number of rounds with each weapon, record their performance stats, and then see how they compare. Previous applications of this method only use one map as a sort of environmental control when playing the rounds. But now I think that restricting play to just one map is inappropriate. One map is not representative of the wide variation of map elements, like chokes, obstacles, elevation, ammo packs, etc., all of which can affect the viability and performance of a specific weapon or class. So this time around, I'm opting to stick to one game mode, payload, naturally, rather than just one map. I will be playing 50 complete rounds of payload. That's attack and defense. 25 rounds with the Huolong heater, and 25 rounds with a stock minigun. As for the performance stats, I've mentioned before that a heavy's performance largely boils down into two things. Are you doing a lot of damage, and are you getting a lot of kills? So for each round, I will keep track of kills per minute, damage per minute, and points per minute to see how each primary weapon performs. But this time around, I also want to pay close attention to the Huolong heater's damage bonus on burning players. So as an additional statistic, I applied a burning players killed part to an unused strange Huolong heater and an unused strange minigun. This isn't the most accurate metric as to how often you are getting the Huolong heater's damage bonus, but this strange part should at least give us a rough idea as to how often it comes into play. My loadouts of choice will either be the stock minigun or the Huolong heater, paired with the sandwich and the stock fists. My primary damage dealer should be my minigun of choice, and not another weapon, so I will avoid things like shotguns or offensive melees. So now I gotta fuck off and go play 50 rounds of heavy. Fuck me, I'll see you in a few weeks. Well, that's a month. A month has gone by, that's how time works, and that was absolutely soul-sucking to play one class for an entire month with my free time. Anyways, without further delay, here are the results. This is surprising. The damage difference between the minigun and the Huolong heater amounts to less than 1%, and the minigun's kills per minute was only 0.13 higher over the Huolong heater, which is a difference of about 5%. As for points per minute, the minigun outperforms the Huolong heater by almost a full point per minute, which is the clear winner, but it's still not that much. Before I dive into explaining these results, inquisitive eyes may notice something. If you go back and look at my Tomislav versus minigun video, you will notice that the minigun's damage output was significantly higher. So why did I do less damage this time? I think I may have an explanation for this. This time around, I played on community servers with random crits turned off, not in casual servers. So 1, I didn't have the damage boosting element that is random crits affecting my data, meaning my overall damage output this time was lower. And 2, the average skill level of players in community servers tends to be higher than those in casual servers, meaning I likely performed worse as a result. Alright, on to the fun stuff. Let's break down the results. Why are the performance stats between the minigun and the Huolong Heater nearly identical? Initially, I interpreted this as the 25% damage bonus on burning players just making up for that 10% damage penalty completely and not much else. But after reviewing gameplay footage and mulling over things again, I realized that this interpretation isn't completely accurate. For starters, let's consider the weight of a 10% damage penalty. A small penalty like this on a hit scan weapon with damage fall off isn't that significant, especially at medium to long range. For example, at far range, the damage difference between the two miniguns isn't that significant, because 10% of a small number is, well, a small number. But at close range, usually closer than 512 hammer units when damage ramp up kicks in, that 10% damage penalty does have a more significant impact, because you are dealing more damage overall, ergo that penalty takes its bigger cut. But it's still not that much damage to make up for. So now, let's consider the fire ring. The fire ring appears to have a range of about 100 to 128 hammer units away from the heavy center, which looks something like this on the conservative estimate. It also appears to be in the shape of a box rather than that of a ring, but I have no real way to confirm that. The fire ring deals 12 damage per tick while in contact with an enemy player, and its afterburn is 4 damage per tick, just like every other source of fire damage in the game. But a little known fact about the Huolong Heater's afterburn is that it does more damage if your primary weapon is out and active. It gets a boost in damage from 4 damage per tick to 5 damage per tick. This certainly doesn't sound like much considering how weak afterburn is over the short term, but over the course of 8 seconds, you could do a decent amount of chip damage to a single target. Just multiply that by the number of people that get close to you, and it adds up. But the most important thing to note is that prolonged contact with the fire ring has comparable damage output to that of the stock flamethrower at medium range. And ultimately, we have that 25% damage bonus on burning players, which means you only deal 5% less damage than the Brass Beast on a minigun that has no movement speed or spin-up penalties. Yeah, that's pretty good. On top of that, you ignite players with your fire ring more often than you may think. According to the strange kill counters we applied to the miniguns, 22 to 25% of the kills you get with a Huolong Heater are on burning players, which is more than 3 times that of the stock minigun, which clocks in at about 7%. So that fire ring really does make a significant difference. So, we have the pittance of a damage penalty, direct damage from your fire ring, afterburn damage, and the cha-chinger, that is the bonus damage you have on burning players, all working together. And this is why the Huolong Heater's damage output and lethality are identical to that of the stock minigun. Pretty cool. The one stat that I haven't mentioned yet that I'm sure everybody's chomping at the bit to hear about is the faster ammo consumption, which is the only major downside to using the Huolong Heater. You consume an additional 4 ammo per second while fully spun up, which means you use your entire ammo reserve about 25% faster. Something important to note is that the additional ammo isn't consumed until you are fully spun up and the fire ring activates. Managing your ammo can be a bit of a challenge, especially if you are the type of heavy player to stay revved up while waiting for enemy players to come to you. And scavenging for ammo also means that you spend less time spun up and firing, ergo less time shooting. In fact, I think that this time spent looking for ammo has a much more detrimental impact to your damage output than the 10% damage penalty does. Personally, there were only a few instances where I ran out of ammo at really inopportune moments, but overall, it was rarely a major issue, primarily because there are always so many fallen ammo kits, dispensers, and map ammo kits to grab when you are running low. It's the going out of your way to get them part that's annoying. One unforeseen downside to the Huolong Heater is that the fire ring blocks your field of view when you look down. This can be a bit of a pain in the ass, actually, since it's usually in your best interest to exploit the high ground so you can shoot down on your target while making yourself harder to hit. But you can't see anything beyond a certain angle when you are spun up. This can be especially annoying when you jump spin up down onto enemies, since your impaired vision can screw with your aim. But aside from that, I think the Huolong Heater is fine as it is, but I hear a lot of people calling for some kind of a slight buff. If I were to buff the Huolong Heater, I would say give it a 10% faster spin up time, so you can get that fire ring activated faster, which better enables the aggressive playstyle that the weapon promotes. Hopefully we get to see it in game one day, but you know, we'll take what we can get at this point. And that's a wrap. I think that this experiment's results are pretty cool, since for the longest time, I thought that the Huolong Heater was just an all-around worse minigun. But it appears as though the Huolong Heater, god fucking damn, my voice cracked again. If I have to record this line one more fucking time, I'm gonna scream, shit. But it appears as though the Huolong Heater can stand toe-to-toe with the stock minigun. Thank fucking god, finally got it. So, when it comes down to choosing one of these miniguns, it really depends on how you want to play. You want to keep it classic, or do you want to amp up your aggression and go for some close range plays that require some tact? I will leave that for you to decide. So guys, let me know in the comment section about how this video is an egregious bastardization of statistical analysis, and why everything I've just said is wrong, in a 4-paragraph long response that is largely incoherent, full of typos, and I can guarantee is going to be fucking ignored. Peace out, I'll see y'all later. Have Uber. I fell. I'm scared. I'm alone. Spy on me. Shit.
I'm dead. He killed me. Oh, he's still alive. He's got a bed. You killed it.
I live.
How? How? You fucking killed him. He had a bed. How, dude? There's no way. That's good. We're gonna win because of this.
I'm not dead. I am not dead. There's no way I should be alive right now. Holy fuck.